welcome to That Computer Is Your Mom, a Gem and the Holograms podcast. I almost made it that time. This is Allie.
This is Josh.
And today we're doing season 1, episode 3, Kimber's Rebellion. Was there anything about before we go on, was there anything about the last episode that you wanted to cover before we moved on?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Was there anything that you wanted to?
No, I don't think so. So at the end of the last episode, we were there was a cliffhanger, as per usual, where the yacht was about to crash into an oil tanker.
Yes.
And so
I didn't realize that was what that other ship was. It was clearly a more commercial vessel.
Yeah, well, they didn't say that. It was just like, oh no, there's a big boat. But the voiceover, I think, in this episode refers to it as an oil tanker. There's a voiceover at the beginning of every episode that isn't the first one that's like, so this is what happened on the last Gem episode that is important, and here is, where we are. So, then what happens?
Well, basically, they just kind of evade the oil tanker. Like, they turn left sharply. Mm-hmm. Whoever is piloting the boat. I guess the pilot.
Uh-huh.
And they manage to evade it.
Right.
And then, let's see.
In the turning left very sharply,
Right.
Gem falls out of the boat.
But then Rio catches her.
Yes. And
she's got this real weird look on her face.
What do you think it's like?
It looks sort of like confusion rather than, terror at the prospect of almost being killed, which would seem more appropriate.
Yeah. So then the boat rights itself. Mm-hmm. Rio pulls Gem up into the boat, and she starts making out with him.
Yeah.
And then he says
something to the effect that is not fair to Jerica.
Right.
He is actually pretty unfailingly I don't know, reluctant to betray her.
Yeah.
Despite her own best efforts.
Because she acts like she's like the motivations here never make any sense. But she is kind of like, oh no, keep making out with me, where you going?
Yeah. And
then he is genuinely upset.
Yeah. This is kind of something that comes up several times in the episode, right? He's really upset that she keeps trying to make him cheat on her with herself.
She is
in hologram form.
She is all but grabbing his tongue. She's coming onto him so hard.
Yeah.
That she basically is half a second away from putting her booty on his junk.
You do feel kind of bad for that guy.
And he's no, don't do that. It's sexual harassment because he is employed by her.
Is the
he's manager.
Is that her employee? It's kind of a...
It's a work situation.
It's definitely a work situation.
But you're right. I mean, managers can fire people, so it's...
Well, she could, but I mean, he's kind of a more I don't know what the musician-manager relationship is like.
He just seems to be anytime they need someone to do a thing.
Yeah, I don't know if
Rio is the
producers
guy who does
of the show know what the musician-manager relationship is like either, though.
No, they don't seem to. I don't know. So, I'm just I'm pretty sure Jim doesn't know either.
Maybe not.
Jim the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like it's not right, and from my memory of it, this is a they're setting up basically a a dynamic that is pretty consistent, where
through the whole show,
as far as I remember,
that's kind of terrible.
Where Rio is like, please don't make me cheat on my girlfriend, and Jem is like, but come on, let's get it in. And Jarek is like, why is he so sad? 'Cause
what's wrong with her?
I don't know.
Does she really not know why he's sad?
Upon the tiniest reflection.
She's kind of a psychopath.
I mean, and this is the tiniest, most alcohol-soaked reflection. And I'm like, this is terrible. Why is she acting like this? This is not okay. It's not really okay to treat someone like that. Right. Oh, it's not nice. Okay, so, we're not to the part where Rio says that he doesn't want to be our manager anymore, but
no,
he does do that later.
Later in the episode.
Mm-hmm. So, he saves Jem, and he looks really sad, and she's like, I don't know why. And then everyone runs up and is like, oh, Jem, are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
And, then what happens?
Well, the other holograms come up, and the Countess, is she a Countess or a Duchess? I always forget.
She's a Countess.
Okay, the Countess comes up, and several other people, one of whom neither of us could remember, but who offers the use of his private plane.
I don't remember him because he's legitimately never showed up before.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Right.
There are people, and the video producer is like, let's go to Paris.
Yeah, and there's the video producer.
And they're like, we're gonna go to Paris. And Jem's like, let's go to our album first. And then this rando comes in, and he's like, you can use my private jet. And that's the only reason why he's there, is to offer this jet.
He must have been someone that they, schmoozed at the party.
I guess so. And he wants them to have the jet, and the Countess is like, I will finance everything.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of people in this show just volunteer basically to throw money at people.
Only the nice people, because no one's throwing money at the misfits.
Well, they offer, and that producer offers a movie contract to whoever wins the Battle of the Bands, which could be the Misfits.
That's true.
People are just very eager to finance these music groups who are hitherto untried. It's
I realized also, I did want to say in reflection about the second episode of our podcast, that I've never said Battle of the Bands more times in one sitting as we did when we were talking about that episode. We said Battle of the Bands.
Well, that episode kind of puts it at the heart of the democratic process. So
truly nothing can be more sacred and untainted.
Yeah, it's like, you wouldn't be surprised if you said the word Constitution a bunch of times if you were talking about a civics class or something.
Okay, that's true. All right. And the Misfits, and she's like, oh, the Countess is like, oh, those terrible Misfits, and they delightfully zoom off in a tiny boat.
Mm-hmm.
And they're basically like, up yours, Countess lady.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
Which again is kind of they have a point. She should have invited them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They probably wouldn't have blown her whole party up if she had.
and thrown, like, shrimp and pies everywhere.
Yeah.
No, I think that when they're actually invited places, they try to, like, schmooze people.
Yeah.
Which, at least, the schmoozing at least begins with them not wrecking everything. It often ends with them wrecking everything, but...
No one... Yeah, that's true. No one seems to be very good at or, like, make much of an effort to try to diffuse their most destructive tendencies. And they really should, you know, if they're not going to lock them up. Like, try to figure out how to make them try to kill people less or, you know, destroy everything less.
I feel like even if you were, like, Pizzazz has to do community service, she would find a way to, like, blow up, like, whatever community service. Like literally. She would, like, if you made her pick up garbage,
yeah,
like, somehow she would make the garbage cans explode.
That sounds more like Zipper's line.
That is, like, how much of an agent of chaos, like, Pizzazz is.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Okay, so they do a little song, and then they go... Is this the part where Kimber starts to get snitty, or, like, is she not up to that point yet?
They're in the studio, they're like, no, we gotta work hard, we're gonna keep practicing because we didn't nail it.
Right.
Right. I don't think Kimber's acting up at that point, is she?
No, I don't think so. Rio's like, do it again, and Jem's like, we'll do it until we get it right.
Yeah.
And,
So I guess I was wrong if I think last time I said that there's, like, not really much in the way of, like, Jem is the good person because she, like, works hard.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say that last time? Maybe we just said that in conversation.
Yeah. You were saying that she's just, like, the good one because she's kind of nice and more soft-spoken.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, like, 90% true. Like, there are times where it's, like, Jem is, like... I think the sort of niceness of Jem... Like, she gets things given to her, like, money and trips to Paris and whatever because she's nice... And in the lexicon of the show, niceness is, like, 90% being kind of, like, soft-spoken.
Yeah,
and
she's
like
kind of nice, but she also, like, escalates conflicts pretty... Like we were saying in the first episode. Like, It did not have to get as aggressive as it did with Eric at all.
But he's a mean person, so it's okay, I guess. Is what the show is telling us.
I guess. It seems like you have to demonstrate his meanness before you just, like, take it for granted and are like, whatever you do to this guy because he's a bad person is fine.
Yeah, like, it seems like this show is like, if your dad dies and he had a business partner, then your dad's business partner is evil. Which it seems like maybe your dad should have chosen a better business partner.
Yeah.
Because, like, why are you business partners with this, like, total D-bag?
Unclear.
Because it doesn't seem like he has any money or expertise in anything except for, like, fucking up things.
He knows how to put on a battle of the bands.
Does he, though? That wasn't that impressive.
No. No, it wasn't.
Oh, God. Okay. But the movie... Maybe he invited the movie producer.
Maybe. To the Battle of the Bands?
To his kind of, like, Bobo Battle of the Bands.
The guy liked it.
He did. He was, like, into it.
He was, like, weirdly into it.
Oh, my God. Like... This is the second time a random mustachioed man has showed up to be like, I will give you a thing.
Uh-oh.
I guess we should pause.
Yeah.
We're back. Okay, so...
There's an interruption from cat vomit.
Then there was a search for cat vomit. And then we found it. Now it's resolved.
Yeah.
Okay, so... they were recording the song, and then they are gonna go... Oh, the Misfits are recording their song.
Yeah, we're intercut between the two, right? Mm-hmm. To compare the work ethic of the Holograms to that of the Misfits.
Right.
Where the Misfits will not be flown into Paris by Eric because he is not able to embezzle enough money from the record company to buy them plane tickets.
He gives Pizzazz a little elbow and he's like, there's only so much money I can embezzle from this company until it's mine completely.
Right.
And I'm like, that's still not how companies work.
Oh, wow.
You can't just embezzle from a company. And here's the thing that I thought was awesome. Pizzazz was like, we're not going to do it again because it was awesome and perfect. And Roxy's like, and I'm bored. And they're just like, Roxy.
Which one? One of them is willing to play it again.
That was Stormer. Stormer's the nice one.
I see.
Like hashtag Roxy 2016. Because she's just like, nope, fuck you. I'm bored, goodbye.
It should... What is the Hologram song called?
It's that We're Making Mischief from the last episode.
No, the Holograms one.
Oh, the Holograms one.
Something in Paris.
Twilight in Paris. Which they play multiple times.
Making Mischief is undeniably a better song.
It really is.
The Holograms song sucks.
It is really not any good. Boring.
It's, yeah.
And, which is unfortunate because I think we hear it 3 times.
Yeah.
And I would like, kind of like We're Making Mischief. I'm like, no, I would download that. And... Oh, I also wanted to say this is the first time I think that they're doing it, but almost everyone in this episode, without fail, calls them Jim and the Holograms.
Did they not do that before?
I don't think so. I didn't notice it.
So they just switched from saying hologram to hologram?
I'm not asserting that necessarily. I'm just saying... Everyone in this episode said hologram, which I could not stop hearing. And I didn't notice it before in the last episode. And I'm just like, okay, it's not pronounced that way though, right? Like, that's not right. It's not hologram.
I don't know. Maybe it's something that is...
Do you think that's a secondary pronunciation?
Maybe.
I don't think so. I'm okay, maybe. Oh, also, every single one of these episodes has been written by Christy Marks.
Yeah.
Who you were wondering...
Whether there's any relation to Carl?
Well, if there is a relation to Carl...
He would probably be a little disappointed.
He would be a little saddened.
Nothing against Jim and the Holograms, but there's not a lot of questioning of certain... capitalist ideologies.
It is a huge celebration of capitalism.
Yeah.
Although, on a slightly different note, also celebrating capitalism, every single one of Jim's outfits in this episode are like 100%. Like, they're all top notch.
I thought there was one that you were pretty unimpressed by.
Was there?
Or something that not Jim.
Oh,
but
Jericho. Yeah,
wearing.
Jericho's outfits were not so good. But Jem was wearing this, like, long-sleeved pink wrap dress with an asymmetrical hem and a, contrasting different color pink, like, different, shade of pink, like, little belts and, an oversized blue kind of balloon bottom, like, a dress with a flower bit. It was good. Yeah, Jem has, like, good clothes taste, or, like, Synergy does. I don't know who's doing that part, but like they're little, they're like mod or they're like cute in like a super 80s way. And so I'm excited. I would have worn all of that stuff, like little net gloves. I don't know where I would wear net gloves, but I'm like in my head I'm imagining myself wearing like net gloves and I'm like excited about it. I think it's a good look. Like pale blue net gloves with some like amazing eyeshadow. Ready to go to the club.
There's a lot of eyeshadow in this show.
I think it's great. I'm like, yeah, good. Eyeshadow just like all the way up to your eyebrow. That's where eyeshadow goes.
Do we need to let's let it run its course, I guess. Okay. There's more cat action going on.
Cat fighting, which I'm hoping you can't hear, but you probably can. Okay, so they go to Paris.
Yeah.
So they're in Paris.
Is the rehearsal in Paris?
Yes. So they're doing the rehearsal prior to the video, and this is where Kimber starts to get upset.
Okay. It should also be noted that although Eric cannot afford to get tickets for all of the Misfits, he is able to purchase one ticket to Paris for Zipper. And the ticket, for some reason, I'm right, aren't I? It's just this, like, pure black thing.
Like rectangle.
Yeah, it's like a rectangle that's just, like, it just, like, sucks all of the light into it. There's no text on it or anything.
Nope.
It's just like the obelisk from 2001: A Space Odyssey, but like the size of an airline ticket. And I guess I speculated that maybe there's some sort of like villain class, the way there's all these like gem like class and preferred travel
class,
sapphire, U.S. Airways, gold, whatever.
Sparkle, vision.
Yeah. So maybe, I guess he would be like henchman class.
Yeah. Like all the people who get to board before us, which is everyone.
Yeah. And they like don't scan your luggage because of course it has a bomb in it, but it's intended for Gem and not the airline itself.
Right. Although he doesn't resort to explosive means this time.
But he's brought a crowbar with him.
Yes.
That's getting ahead of ourselves, I guess.
He brought or procured a crowbar while in Paris. So they're Gem and the Holograms are in Paris.
Yeah.
Let's see. Shayna had a line while they were on the boat.
What was that?
Let's leave right now. That's what she said. But Shayna is one of the holograms. I was just counting in my head. I was like, does Shayna even talk in this episode? And I was like, oh yeah, she does that one time. She does actually a little bit, so maybe I'm being overly like, are they letting people who aren't Kimber and Gem talk? But they are a bit. But okay, so
is Kimber a name that anyone else has?
Not in my personal experience. People are generally named Kimberly and then they get called Kim.
Oh, yeah.
So
is Jerica a real name?
I have never heard anyone else named Jerica.
Okay.
I mean, people like, I don't know, like people like to make up their own names now or like use like unusual names. So it's not, I'm sure someone is named Jerica, but I've never met anyone named Jerica. Okay, so they're in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And they're practicing for the video with the video director guy.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the same guy from the boat.
Yeah. And he and, what's that hologram's name? Shayna. Oh, okay. They are like an item now, it seems like.
Yeah. They're very like, they have the body language of a couple.
Yeah.
And Kimber is getting upset because she's like, why is this video just about Gem?
Yeah.
It's
legit.
Yeah. Like this Gem and the Holograms episode has covered the ground that No Doubts Don't Speak covers many decades later. Or a decade later. Many decades. I don't know. It's like sometime later.
Yeah.
But it's the same issue. Where, they focus on the lead singer and the rest of the band's like, hey, what about us?
Is that what that song is about?
That's what the video is about.
Oh.
I think the song is about a breakup.
I never actually saw the video.
Oh, yeah. There's a part where they, like, it's about some part where they apparently, like, crop the band out, like, to put her on the cover of, like, Rolling Stone.
Oh.
Everyone got mad because, like, Yeah, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So Kimber's mad, and then
she kind of starts to storm off.
She does.
And
That's
she's
right.
almost going to wander into Zipper's grasp because he's lurking in an alley near where they're practicing the music video.
Being a real creeper.
That's just like what he does. Maybe we should stop the cat fight.
Okay, hang on. Okay. We're back. Hodge is being good for now. Hodge the cat.
He's making mischief.
He is. I think Hodge is one of the misfits.
Yes.
Who out of the cats would be Gem? I think it might be Sparkles.
Okay. I was gonna say Foxy.
Why would you say Foxy?
She's like good-natured, but also kind of dumb.
Tifa is clearly Zipper. Because she's bad at things.
Yeah.
Bless her little heart.
Poor Tifa.
You want her to, like, do well, but she just kind of never gets there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, back to Jim and the holograms. So they start... Kimber almost walks into the slimy waving hands of Zipper.
It's not really clear what he's going to do to her if he does. But...
I think I was under the impression that he was going to kidnap her.
Oh, okay.
Somehow. But, so, just in the nick, Rio runs up and is like, Kimber, where you going?
And it's like you're being a baby, something along those lines.
He calls her a spoiled brat.
That's right, a brat.
And, like, seems a little overly harsh.
Yeah, because really all she did was walk away.
Like, she walked, like, half a block away because she was upset. From a part of the video that she wasn't in.
It's true.
Like, if she was, like, having... If she was...
It was not actually clear to me that she was, like, having a reaction at all and not just, like, walking that way because that was what she chose to do in her downtime.
Mm-hmm. Like, if she was going to have a smoke break, she would have, like, maybe walked that far away and
Oh, if she smoked, she would be a misfit.
Well, yeah, if she smoked, she would be bad. But, like, if she just was like, I want to walk a little bit to do a thing that is for me, she wasn't, like, so far away that they couldn't be like, come back here and do your part.
Right.
So she goes back. They start the Twilight in Paris video, which is not interesting in any way. And the video contains, or the song contains the word Eiffel Tower. Because
a number of times.
It's in Paris, you dodo.
There's actually another landmark reference, though, isn't there? And I don't remember what it is now.
I don't remember what it is either. But they walk by, like, many things where they're like, France, 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 France.
I mean, it's actually more references to things in France than I would have known at 8 years old, probably.
Yeah, I'm probably why they, like, call out the Eiffel Tower, because maybe they were like, see?
Yeah, this is what they'll know. Eiffel Tower, right, guys?
But, like, Rio's in the video.
Yeah. Why not?
But, like, okay, but why is he in the video? Because I'm like, is this a fantasy sequence, or is this the video that they actually filmed? Because if it's the video that they actually filmed, then the dude is, like, she's, like, brought him into her, like fan world as, like, her love interest.
Well, that's kind of, like, always what the videos are like, right? They somehow represent what's going on in the show, but it's also clearly not happening. So I don't think it's exactly the video that they shoot, but it's, like, similar to it.
I think that you were right, like, the last time we talked about this, when you said that, like, the Gem persona, like, somehow represents, like, Jerrica being able to express that she, like has desires.
Yeah.
Because, like, because the like nature of her like sort of coming on like pretty strong.
Yeah. She does.
She really does. To Rio, who, if Jim and Jericho were not the same person, you would be like, Jim is clearly like not a nice person because that is somebody else's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And, you know, you'd have to like smack a bitch.
That's true.
And be like, get your own man. But yeah, anyway, so the video, I just thought it was weird because I was like, is this the video? But she's basically like chasing him down through this whole video of like, oh, I'm chasing Rio. And then they end the fantasy sequence with all the holograms together.
Right. And then Zipper is in the building above them. And he's prying with his crowbar.
Right.
A gargoyle off of the roof.
Pretty impressive gargoyle.
Yeah, it's big.
It is big.
And he drops it, and it falls, and it knocks against another statue on its way down, such that it looks to me like it was gonna miss them regardless. But Rio still like jumps in and like pushes them out of the way.
Right.
And it was not entirely clear to me whether we were supposed to understand that Rio had saved them all or what. Like, it was... I don't know why it knocking into the other statue had to be in there.
Yeah, it's pretty, like... They focus on that pretty hard. Like, see, it knocks into this other statue and then it goes off to the side.
Like, was it just supposed to be more evidence that Zipper can't do anything right? I would like to think that that's what it was.
And the folder marked Zipper sucks at things. It's also this like little gargoyle caper.
Yeah.
And the time that he stood in the alley while Kimber was walking towards him and said audibly, "Yeah, keep coming towards Zipper." And then sort of made this like really...
Oh yeah, that weird wafting motion. He like moves his arms like he's trying to get the scent of a dish into his nostrils. Right?
Yes, he does. He totally does.
Yeah. That was weird.
And he's just like, if you were like, what is a creeper? Like, what does it mean?
So often creepiness has to do with smelling people inappropriately.
It doesn't always have to do with that, but when you're smelling people inappropriately, it's always creepy.
Yeah.
You know the only person who ever got away with that? Justin Timberlake.
When did he do that?
In his Cry Me a River video. He like is behind the like Britney Spears, the woman that's supposed to be Britney Spears, because it's a song about them breaking up. And he like breaks into her house and like fucks up her shit and takes a video of himself like banging a brunette like in her bed, and then he like when she walks in he like is in the house and he like walks up behind her and is like smelling her.
And that's okay?
Well, it is Justin Timberlake.
Okay. I don't think that's right.
I'm probably not explaining it right, but...
Maybe not. It doesn't sound okay.
I don't know. At the time, you're kind of like, well, that's creepy, but it's Justin Timberlake, so it's kind of hot.
Huh.
And when dudes are like, so Justin Timberlake can get away with it and I can't, and the answer to that question is, yeah, that's true.
I'm pretty sure if that was you, you would still be like upset rather than like, oh, well, it's Justin Timberlake.
I don't know. Remember the time I told you that James Marsters looked at my boobs?
It seems like a little more intense than that.
That's true. I don't know. I'll have to consult and come back to you.
Consult who?
I'm going to consult Mickey and some more of my girlfriends about the, like, who could get away with creepily smelling you? Or, like, yeah.
Well, the scenario you just laid out had more parts to it than just the creepy smelling. That just sounded like the culmination of it.
Yeah, it's not right. I'm aware of that.
Well, anyway.
We should probably move on.
Yeah.
Before I make myself look like a bigger weirdo.
Okay, so, the gargoyle toppling escapade fails.
Yes. And...
like everything Zipper does.
So, Rio is like... Rio seems pretty upset that Jim almost died.
That's true. He does seem upset.
Yeah. And she's like, just hold me.
Yeah.
And, Shayna and her dude are like, they're embracing each other.
Yeah.
But they don't get any lines.
No. The show is not interested in them.
Nope. And
the other two holograms are alone.
Oh, and then Aja.
And sad.
Aja's like, that wasn't just an accident.
That's true. She always seems to know what's going on more than most.
Yeah, Aja's like really got like, she's got her like, she's always like paying attention in ways that other people clearly are not.
Mm-hmm.
And so she points at the top of the building. Where
Zipper actually is doing pretty good at jumping from building to escape. I'm guessing he has had to flee the scene of many failures in the past, and that's the one thing that he's good at, is getting away well.
It was a pretty impressive leap.
Yeah.
He had kind of great sort of a ballet leap almost.
Yeah, they really lingered over it in the animation.
And then Kimber's like, I bet I know who did this.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
she doesn't elaborate, but I assume she means Eric Raymond.
She does, because she shows up at his office.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wrong. The show elaborates even if she doesn't.
Yeah, so she shows up at his office and she's like, I know that you tried to kill us.
Does she say it like that?
No. She's basically like, I know it was you who sent that guy. And Eric Raymond is like, what does he do?
He kind of basically says, whatever about the trying to kill you thing, let's not even address that. But you... oh no, he says, well, that was the Misfits and I can't control them because look at them. It is a mess. But if you were a solo act and I was just managing you, that would be great because you, unlike the Misfits, don't try to kill anybody.
Yes.
He doesn't say that, but that's kind of the implication of what he's saying.
And then he gets all creepy touching with her.
Yeah, and he touches her weirdly.
He cups the side of her face.
But she's not...
barf.
But she's not into it at the time.
Right.
Or maybe she's just not into him because who would be?
Right. And he's like her dad. He's like her dad's contemporary.
That's true.
And
because she...
I think they're supposed to be I don't know, maybe in their early 20s.
She is?
I think all the holograms are supposed to be pretty young.
Okay.
It's impossible to tell how old anyone is supposed to be except for the children.
Yeah. And even they are just smaller versions of the other characters. Is it Ashley is the bad seed
Ashley
child?
is the angry girl.
She looks like everybody else, just smaller.
It's like the Middle Ages art.
Yeah, it really is.
Made the babies smaller.
Uh-huh.
like the Middle Ages, like crazy angry Jesuses, where they're just like small angry men with no hair, and it's super weird looking. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
It's a lot like that. Okay, so she has her meeting with Eric.
And then it puts the idea in her head.
Sure, yeah. And then they go back to the mansion that they are living in now.
Oh, we forgot a thing.
What?
Which is when they come back.
Oh, yeah.
They come back and Eric. No, Rio's like sad when they come back from the plane.
He's just always sad.
He is, but Jim's like, "Oh, I gotta run," and she runs away and turns into Jerica, and then Rio's just like, "I gotta go."
Yeah.
And because he's having like guilt feelings.
Yeah.
Because he's not a bad person, and like, it's that like it seems like he and Jerica have like decided on a monogamous relationship. They do not have like any kind of like open relationship clause. As if they did, this wouldn't be a problem if they would just like negotiate like new relationship boundaries, or she would like not lie to him about being two people.
Yeah.
Which there's a part. Oh, god damn it. I'm like jumping all around. But so anyway, to end this part, Jerica comes back and she's like, "Where's Rio?" And Aja's like, "He left." And then she's like, "Don't worry, Jerica." Like, they're comforting her. Because she's like upset that he left.
Yeah.
Even though he is, kind of rightfully like confused and upset.
Yeah.
There is also a part where when Rio calls, this is important, because when Rio calls Kimber a brat when they're in Paris, she's like, "Oh, if you think I'm bad, you think Jim's so great. Let me tell you some stuff about Jim." Oh. And then Aja and Shayna run up and are like, "Shut up. Shut up right now."
Sure.
And Rio and Kimber's like, "Rio has a right to know." Yeah. Which is like totally valid and true. Right. Even though the show sort of plays it off like she's being like unreasonably like bratty or unreasonable. Yeah. She's actually just totally and completely right. Wow. And Shayna says to her that she kind of agrees with that. Yeah. But that it's like Jerica's business to tell him. Right. Which you would think should be followed up with them like sitting Jerica down and being like, "Listen, you really do need to tell Rio though." But they don't do that.
Well, it's her show.
Okay, so now we're back at Starlight House.
There is another part we've skipped.
Did we skip another part?
Well, there's a whole montage where Jim and the Holograms on the one hand and the Misfits on the other are like doing their promotional efforts.
Oh, we're not to that yet.
Are you sure?
I am, because we still got the whole honor jar crap to get through.
Oh, who cares? The stupid honor jar. All right.
This episode is like not as like it's not as
it's
exciting.
It's not as crazy as some of them. You could have actually made this whole episode without any hologram powers, and
it would essentially
nothing
be the same.
Would be different.
Yeah. Okay, so we're back at the mansion, and the girls are cleaning.
Oh, that actually had one of the best parts, where it looks like one of the girls is either like scrubbing hard, or even like wallpapering or something, a potted plant. I don't know what she's doing to the potted plant, but the girls all have their like differentiated cleaning roles, and it's like no one cleans this rigorously, but apparently they're making these orphans do it because what the heck, it's free labor, I guess.
They gotta earn their orphan keep.
I guess.
So, the girls are, like, the chattering sort of excitedly about, you know, the gem and the holograms coming back. And Ashley's like, who gives a crap about Jim and the holograms?
Ashley has the right attitude.
Ashley is kind of amazing. And so, one of the other girls are like, speaking of your crappy attitude, mm-hmm. Let's talk about the honor jar again.
They will not let it go.
And so Ashley's like, here's your stupid $30 after they ask about it again. And then what happens?
And then they're like, no, we're not going to take the money until you tell us where you got it.
Which is like...
They just keep changing the goalposts.
Where did you expect her to get this money from?
Yeah.
Like, how was she supposed to... I keep bringing this up, but I'm just like, how was she supposed to get money in the first place? This game is, like, totally rigged. And the girl is, like, very self-satisfied with herself when she's like, how you get the money is just as important as the money.
And then Ashley's like, screw you guys, basically.
Yeah.
I think she throws the money at them. Is that right?
She does. I'm like Ashley, 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 Ashley.
And I think that they have the gall to be like, oh, what's wrong? And she, like, leaves.
Yeah, they're like, well, I don't understand why you're upset. Like, I'm like, yes, you do. You know why she's upset. You tried to upset her on purpose.
Yeah, so Ashley is clearly in the right, and everybody else is terrible.
Mm-hmm. And then she goes to a club that I guess is where the Misfits are.
Yeah.
It says Zap on the outside.
Club Zap.
And,
even though they don't seem to do a whole lot to endear themselves to the regulars of Club Zap.
No. So they let
steal
Ashley...
drinks.
They let Ashley in.
Throw people out of their chairs.
Yeah, Pizzazz is really aggressive. And she is, like, not who you want babysitting your kid. Because she's like, here's what you should do. Kick everyone and throw things at people. That's how you do stuff the right way. And you're just like, oh no. Like, when you get your kid back from Pizzazz, it's going to be, like really bad. Like, trying to get the kid to, like, not, like, kick everyone in the shins. You're going to have
More than that, it's just like...
week.
Attempted murder after attempted murder mitigated only by their incompetence.
I don't think she's... But when she's telling Ashley what to do, she's just like, Misfits don't ask for things, we just take what we want. And then she kicks a guy.
Yeah, and threatens him with her fist.
Mm-hmm. Even though he's incredibly huge, like, he's like Ted McLarge huge. And she is, like, a tiny person.
The guy sitting at the table?
Yeah, because he's, like, a dude, and they're all, like, enormous.
Yeah.
And, like,
that's true.
She is, like, impossibly, like, tall and slender, like all the women.
Right.
Like, if he, like, probably poked her with her finger, she would, like, fall down. Like, there's no... This is not a show with any kind of body diversity. There's a style of body types for women and a style of body types for men.
Right.
And that's what there is. So...
It's probably, like, laziness in the animation as much as, like, a conscious effort.
Well, yeah, I mean... But, you know, with the dolls, I'm sure we're that way, too.
Oh, yeah.
So, at any rate, like, I think Hasbro was, like, notorious for, like, reusing doll molds. You know, and just being like, well, what if we took this one doll and then painted it another color and then gave it a different head and then we can call it something else. So, that was, like, how they made all their, like, different dolls, especially their He-Man stuff. But... Okay, so Ashley's, like, chilling with the Misfits now, which seems like, you know, pretty justified to me.
Yeah.
Although they're not very nice to her either.
No.
I feel bad for Ashley.
She really is not treated well by anyone.
No. So then, let's see. We're back at. This is the point where the montage happens.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to describe it?
There's a song by the Holograms in which their efforts to promote their song, the Paris one, are contrasted to those of the Misfits. And the Misfits are shown, I think we're to understand, oh, you're right, this is where it happens, yeah. Okay, are shown to be cheating in various ways. Although all of the promotional efforts are a little bit kind of...
They're a little slapdash.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think, doesn't one of the Holograms, like, kind of... Doesn't she, like, show up at the record store and, like, kiss somebody? Do you remember this?
They do.
It's kind of like, it seems like there's an implication that it's not all, like... just purely on the basis of the merit of the song by any means.
It doesn't seem to be about that at all. It seems to be about, like, who can put up the most posters.
Yeah.
And...
the Misfits are, like, tearing their posters down and stuff.
And apparently paying the record DJ, or the radio DJs, not to play their song.
Yeah. But it's also, like, I don't know.
There's one point where, like, that I enjoyed where Kimber and Jem are giving out flyers and then Pizzazz roller skates through and, like, knocks them out of people's hands. Mm. So that's fun. And they have Ashley with them. The Misfits do. Mm-hmm. And she's, like, helping them sabotage the holograms. Yeah. So, and then...
It's a good montage.
Mm-hmm. And then... they are back at Starlight House.
No, that's burned down.
Well,
this is the mansion.
It's going to be the new Starlight House, I guess.
Well,
it's
not until the Battle of the Bands.
You can lose it at any point.
And even then. Yeah.
Okay,
could go to the Misfits.
It could go to the Misfits.
You don't know.
You never know. Another man in a mustache might roll up and say something else. Like, yeah. Hello, I have this food for you.
Yeah.
Hello, I have offered you this.
Rich guys with mustaches can intervene at any time and change the rules of everything.
Hello, I am another guy. I am another white guy with a mustache, and I have a food truck you can use. And that's how Jim and the Holograms got into beer brewing. But, so, they're back at the mansion, which is not Starlight House yet, and Jerica gets a call. Mm-hmm. From?
Some TV personality. I don't remember her name, do you?
She's maybe Lindsay. She's like the video lady from the boat. Who's like, I have the video show. So right. I think she's supposed to be like a VJ on MTV.
Okay. So she wants to interview Jem. Mm-hmm. And she wants to do it like that day, like in an hour or something.
Live on the air.
It's crazy. Anyway, she wants to interview Jem, and she's like, yeah, I'm going to come with the Holograms. And she's like, no, just Jem.
Right.
And she says, sure. I don't care about Kimber, so yeah, sure.
She says with her mouth, Kimber can go fuck herself.
And then she hangs up, and Kimber's like, so are we all going to go? And she's like, nope, just me.
Just me, the important one.
And then Kimber rebels, as in the episode's title, Kimber's Rebellion.
Yes. And
which involves taking the car and just driving aimlessly away.
She says, I'm going to start my own career, and then she steals the car.
Yeah. Where she's going is not clear.
Unknown. And so then Jerica calls Lindsay, the VJ, back and is like, VJ, for those of you who are under a certain age, was a video DJ from MTV back when they used to have videos. Ask your parents. So anyway, she goes back to she calls the video lady back and is like, I won't do it unless we can all do it.
She being Jem.
Jem does, yeah. And Lindsay's like, who gives a shit? Really?
Yeah, she doesn't care. She goes from before saying, no, it's just Jem, to like, I really don't care.
Yeah,
all of you can come. I don't care at all.
You get the impression that if Jem, if
she had pushed even a little bit,
like even if she had even like asked about it,
yeah,
that she would have been like, oh yeah, fuck, whatever.
So just more evidence that Jem is actually pretty terrible.
So they run and jump in their van.
Yeah.
And Aja and Shayna ask Jerrica, how are we going to find her? She could be anywhere. Mm-hmm. Reasonable questions. Jem does not answer.
Well, they go to the radio station.
Yes, they go to the radio station.
And they ask the radio, and the DJ just lets them talk on the radio, even though they're not promoting their stuff. They're just using it to convey a personal message to someone who might or might not be listening to the radio at that time, namely Kimber. But just like, if you imagine, even if you are a pop star going to the radio station being like, I just want to like talk to, I don't know, my dad or something over the airwaves.
Oh my god, they would totally let you though.
No,
because
they would.
That would
You're
be
right.
on TMZ everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's true. If it was like David Bowie wants to talk to his like nephew on the radio and it's just like, hey, I saw your soccer game. You did really well. I'm proud of you.
People
I'm
would
David
love
Bowie.
That. And then he would just, if he was just like do a promo for the station after, they totally would let him. They would totally let him.
No, you're right. Okay, yeah, never mind. But that is totally legitimate.
It is like, but the thing that to me is like very strange is it's like they're clearly putting their like personal business, which is that Kimber is like run away like a small child.
That's true.
In the public, like to use Beyonce as an example again. It's like if when it was oh god, what's the name of Beyonce's group? I don't even know. Oh, you don't know either? Now I'm embarrassed. Bootylicious. Oh my god, the face. It's Destiny's Child, and you just looked at me like you'd never heard of the song.
No, I've heard of that song.
Like, I've got no help. Not a speck of help. And I got there.
Whatever.
Okay. So anyway, this is like the equivalent of if like the members of Destiny's Child and like Beyonce is like, Michelle, come back. Come back, we miss you. That would be very weird. People would be like, what's happening with Destiny's Child?
To be fair, they don't say Kimber when they're broadcasting it, right?
They don't? I thought they did.
I didn't think they did. So it could have been about the actual runaway child that was happening simultaneously. That they don't even know. Namely Ashley.
That they don't know about because they're terrible guardians.
Yeah.
There's no head count. No one seems to notice that a child is missing.
There's no other adults around except for these, like, 3 who regularly just jet off to wherever.
Yeah.
Or there's that cook.
Yeah. So it's basically like the cook who suggested embezzling.
That's right.
In the first episode.
Because her dad did it. I mean, everybody does it. Come on.
It's totally fine. So it's her, and then the mean girl who keeps going on about the honor jar. seems to maybe nominally be in charge of something. I don't know.
I hope not.
Yeah, she's pretty
You're
bad.
probably right, though. They're probably just like, mean girl, you're in charge while we're gone.
I think it would just be like, they would be like, who is the meanest girl?
Mm-hmm.
You're in charge. You have full authority. Like, that's how well thought out this, like, sort of orphanage running.
Like, don't forget to make Ashley feel bad about herself while we're gone.
Yeah, if you could make everyone feel bad about themselves, that'd be great. But especially the girl who has the angry hair.
Getting uppity.
Yeah. She's like real mad all the time.
Yeah.
And then we don't know why. Yes, you do. Like, you do know why. Also, like, I'm surprised more of these girls aren't mad all the time because, like, they don't have parents. Mm-hmm. And, like, you don't normally get into a situation where you don't have parents without something pretty unpleasant in your life going down. So, the fact that most of them seem to be pretty well adjusted. How are we on time?
It's at an hour now.
Oh, okay. Well, we're almost at the end. So, at any rate, Kimber comes back, and she cries a little bit.
So just to clarify, Kimber's rebellion was her driving away in the car and then pulling a U-turn once they request her presence again over the radio.
Yes.
It's a pretty half-assed rebellion.
It's pretty tame. It should be Ashley's rebellion because Ashley's out there, like, ripping it up.
True.
Ashley. So, at any rate, okay, so they show up at the video lady's studio.
Studio B.
Studio B, that's right, that's what she said.
Mentioned a number of times.
And they're gonna do an interview, and so the woman says, "Why are you called Jim and the Holograms?" Mm-hmm. And the Misfits show up.
That's right. Presumably because they would actually be put in a bit of a spot to answer that question because they would have to reveal Jim's hologram powers.
Maybe.
Or, like, make something up.
Yeah.
Which they don't seem to be great at.
No, they do not seem to be really good at that. So that probably was, like, saved, in the nick of time. Mm-hmm. There's a bit of business with how they get in and Ashley helps them, but that's not important. They being the Misfits. And so the Misfits come in and they're like, you should be interviewing us because Jim and the Holograms suck. Mm-hmm. And Lindsay is like, the VJ lady is like, well, I was going to interview you next week, but now you're being terrible, so I'm not gonna.
And loud.
And loud! That's what she said.
They're described as loud, rude, and something else. Where, again, it's very clear that it's just their, like, crassness rather than their propensity for attempted murder that is the big problem with them.
So anyway.
Well, it's true.
It is true. And Kimber gets pushed onto the floor.
Sure.
And they've gone to commercial. It's not live anymore. Mm-mm. And the Misfits are like, well, we're not going to leave. And then what happens?
They get the, like, male crew members to, like, escort them out.
Plus Rio for some reason.
And they're kind of dragging them out of the studio, and then one of the Misfits, I don't remember which one, like, really just, like, what do they, like, shove Rio?
She, like, propositions Rio first, and I think it's pizzazz.
Is it? And she, like, tells him to come work for her, and he's like, nah, I'm not into it. Mm-hmm. And then she pushes him.
And
she pushes him into some sort of filming equipment. I don't remember if it's a camera or a light or what, but whatever it is, like, instantly knocks everything else over in the studio and, like, snaps power cords and
everything's on fire,
shatters things, and like, everything explodes or bursts into flames. It's like the most delicate studio ever. All of the machinery is just a little push away from bursting into flames and just, like, killing everyone around it.
It's like a severe OSHA violation.
Yeah.
And Jim is like in the middle of all this like flames, looking stricken.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's the end. To be continued. So every episode seems to end with some sort of improbable, dangerous situation.
Yes, I think that's true.
Even though almost none of the rest of the show is about dangerous situations.
Right. This one was very, like, tame and kind of soapy. And nothing, like, nothing super crazy happened.
It seems kind of weird that the cliffhangers aren't, like... Is Jem going to be able to, like, conceal her identity or something? That seems more in keeping with the actual subject matter of the show. Instead, there's always some, like, really weird, contrived, like, life-threatening situation at the end.
And it's, like, in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's, like, completely unmotivated.
Yes, and then they show us the Twilight, like, part of the Twilight in Paris video again.
No, I think they showed us the song from the montage, didn't they? Because the Twilight in Paris song was terrible, and this was the song that I thought was better.
Oh, okay. Well, they show us part of a video again. I don't remember which one. Because I guess they didn't have enough time. And that's it.
Yep.
Okay, so on a level... star rating 1 to 5 on outrageousness. What do you think?
2. Not very outrageous. I think I said before, the whole thing could have been done without recourse to hologram powers at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hologram usage in this one, not so good.
If Zipper hadn't shown up, it would probably be a 1. But I don't know, his like all black plane ticket was pretty good. That was pretty outrageous.
His crazy
and
creeper
the, like,
behavior.
Incredibly combustible studio at the end was pretty outrageous, but nothing else really was, I didn't think.
No, I think that also there's one part too that we forgot where Rio tells Jerrica, I can't be Jim's manager anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And because he's like... And he doesn't say because that chick's trying to, like, get it.
No.
But, like, that is what he clearly means.
Yeah.
And he's like, essentially, like, I want to be faithful to you.
Yeah.
And Jerrica...
And this situation is making me feel really bad.
Yeah. And Jerrica's like, no, but you have to.
Without explaining why or, like, anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's the worst.
She is the worst. And, yeah. And I think I would also say, I don't know. I think it's like a 1.5 for me because it's, like, pretty far down as far as, like, how, like, ridiculous, like, Jim episodes, I think, can get. This is pretty tame.
Mm-hmm.
And on the one hand, I'm like,
Are we allowed to do half stars?
I did last time.
Oh, I forgot.
You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
So they
1 3/4.
That's fine.
Okay, it's 1 3/4 now.
It's 1 3/4. Yeah, I mean it was pretty tame, and the stuff with Zipper was pretty funny. And, you know, I'm a big Ashley fan, but Ashley forever. But yeah, I think that, like, continuing to, like, count on the outrageousness of the like contrived, like, I think it's gonna wear thin because I think they do that like a lot, like almost every episode.
Of which?
Of Gem that like ends with like a contrived like 30-second like oh god, there's a cliffhanger ending.
But specifically the life-threatening.
I think they're very life-threatening. Like
yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm remembering incorrectly, but I'm like, I think that they're often like very like like, oh God, it's
it is kind of delightful that, like, it has nothing to do with anything around it, and just suddenly everything, like, turns into this raging inferno in the last 20 seconds.
I think that the outrageousness, like...
and then is resolved in the first minute of the next one.
Not even the first minute. It, like, goes away in the first, like less than a minute.
Yeah.
I think that the outrageousness level of, like, the way that Jerrica treats Rio, which is terrible, and the, like, terrible, like, you know... I don't know, like irresponsibility of how they treat the orphan children, and then the, like, you know, ridiculousness of the contrived, like, endings. I think the sort of outrageousness level of that is going to wear kind of thin, because I think they just keep doing that. But yeah, so I'm going to say 1.5, because, and the half is really just because of, like, the part where Rio tries to quit, and Jericho won't let him, which is, like, pretty outrageous. Actually, I lied. I'm giving it a 2, because that's outrageous.
Yeah.
Like, nothing else is very outrageous.
Except that black plane ticket.
That's pretty good. You're not getting anywhere with that, Zipper. What are you doing?
Zipper's, he did get to Paris.
Zipper's like, I'm not taking off my shoes. He's just going to Paris. Okay, so was there anything else you wanted to say about the episode?
Nope.
Okay. We have a Facebook page now, so if you go to That Computer Is Your Mom on Facebook, that is what it is, and you can like it. And I'll let you know when there's new episodes. And I think that's it.
That's it.
So, goodbye. We'll see you next time.
Bye.